Have you ever stopped to think about the privilege of living in a first world country? There are so many things that we take for granted every day without even noticing. We often don't have to worry about things like electricity, transportation, and even running water. Something as simple as water from the tap is not something we often consider to be a privilege of living in a first world country. What you may not know is that there are millions of people around the world who don't have access to even the basic necessities of life, like clean water. For instance, Nicaragua is the largest country in Central America, and yet it is the second poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. In Nicaragua, the average annual income is a little over $1,800. That calculates a little less than $5 per day or 62 cents an hour. Despite the grinding poverty, the cost of living is relatively high in Nicaragua. In 2022, a gallon of gas costs $4.60, a gallon of milk $3.50. Recently, I met an elderly couple who said that their daily nutrition is 2 bowls of rice and beans. They add cheese to their diet every week or so and get meat only a few times per year. One of the harshest realities of this grinding poverty, however, is the lack of clean water. For many of us, we can only imagine a scenario which we did not have meat or cheese very often, but can you imagine what it would be like to not have access to clean water? That's a really hard thing to grasp for us. The truth is, the average Nicaraguan only has access to water from rivers, which is often contaminated and unhealthy. Not only that, many people will have to travel long distances on foot to get water from rivers and then carry heavy buckets back home. Some will even dig shallow wells by hand that only access the surface water in the soil and will completely disappear during the 6-month dry season. This problem is not just for families in their homes. The lack of clean water extends to even places like medical outposts and fire stations. Nicaragua lacks the infrastructure to provide regular access to clean water, even in the densest urban areas. In fact, their city water is often contaminated and unhealthy. Because of this, many people struggle with health conditions. Kidney disease and even kidney failure is a rampant problem. Gastrointestinal problems like diarrhea lead to further dehydration and even limit the body's ability to absorb nutrients. You see, water is life. Where there is access to clean water, life can thrive. On top of having water to drink, clean water allows people to perform what we in the first world would consider unalienable rights, like bathing and washing clothes safely. One family we met recently showed us crops that they had grown for food, and because they do not have regular access to clean water, the crops are often shriveled and lack the nutrients they could otherwise provide. Having regular access to clean water would allow them to grow food that would in turn provide meals for their family and even opportunity for income through selling their crops. Water is life. I'm sure you've heard this statement many times in your life. Do you see a glass half full or half empty? The question for people in Nicaragua is never half full or half empty. The question is, will they have water at all? Today, you can provide a Nicaraguan village life through the digging of a deep water, sustainable, clean water well. These wells go 150 or more feet into the ground and are able to tap into the natural aquifers found throughout the country. These aquifers not only contain clean water, but they provide the water year-round that do not disappear in the 6-month dry season. Through the local church, we have the opportunity to contribute to the digging of wells that provide up to 150 thirsty households each. Our partnership with missionary well drillers from Project Water enable us to provide a well to a community for only $7,000. Over the last year, the Delmarva, DC region of the Church of God has blessed Nicaragua with over 24 wells from churches, individuals, and combining multiple donations. In fact, during the COVID-19 pandemic, well drilling has continued and there is momentum building for many more. Today, with any donation, big or small, you can radically change the course of a person's life in Nicaragua. What we see over and over again is that God uses these wells for not only life-giving water, but also for softening the hearts of people to receive the living water of Jesus Christ. Giving a cup of cold water in the name of Jesus opens a person to the living water himself. Finally, if a church or person sponsors a well, they can travel less than 7 hours to Nicaragua by air to join Project Water Mission and also drill a well and dedicate that well while they're there. This is not an impersonal mission where you send money off and hope it gets where you send it. You can personally put that money to work and see it. Would you be willing to offer a cup of cold water in the name of Jesus? Here's how you can begin quenching physical and spiritual thirst today.